Yeah, See You Again, it's called. Charlie Puth. I don't know how you say his name.
Oh, I don't even recognize this. Oh, well, I haven't heard it. I haven't listened to it, but it's
It's
from the Fast Furious 7 soundtrack.
Yeah, it
Huh.
is, and you'll recognize it the moment you hear it. I think I don't have a clip of it here, but yeah, you'll recognize it immediately. It was kind of everywhere.
Okay. All
So.
right.
But with that said, let's get into our episode here. We've got basically two episodes in one in this, I would say, right? You've got the everything that happens leading up to the kind of disappearance of Ava, the arrest of Boyd, Raylan going to Miami. So you have all of that. And then you have everything that happens 4 years later. And we'll kind of break it into two parts there. But first, we've got to apprehend Ava and Boyd and Markham and get the money back. And where we left off, Raylan was taken into custody by a state trooper. We get a little scene with the state trooper and Raylan, which is great because it's very parallel to the conversations Raylan's had with his fugitives. And you think back to like season one and Hunter Mosley, you know, and like the conversation that he's having with Raylan from the back seat about being a lawman and doing what he needed to do, and Raylan saying, "I don't care, you tarnished your badge or whatever." This state trooper is just giving Raylan back exactly what he's given every fugitive he's ever apprehended over his career, and he cannot take it.
It was almost like it's not like quite bizarro, but it's just like the mirror of Raylan, everything that Raylan does.
It's great to hold that mirror up to him and see, oh boy, it's not so nice being on the other end of this, is it? But also at the same time, it doesn't change his behavior, because what do we see in City Primeval? He does the exact same thing.
That's right.
So he doesn't learn any lessons, just like everybody else. So
He's and that trooper is even more straight leg, like a square jaw. I don't know. It's just what he just didn't have the hat and the Stetson.
That's
he's
exactly
like
right.
Such a uniform guy, right? He's like by the book and all that other stuff.
Yep. Yeah,
I like that.
No,
very much.
no tolerance for a crooked cop. So that's yeah. So Raylan's being taken off to await his transfer to the Marshal Service, or the FBI actually is what he's waiting for.
Yeah.
And Boyd at the same time is searching for the money up at Grubbs' place. We know Ava took off. You know, if we remember at the end of the last episode there, Zachariah blew himself up trying to get Boyd. Boyd managed to escape that and is looking for the money. He's very frustrated, but then he finds a shovel with fresh dirt on it, and he thinks, oh, they buried the money. So he goes to dig it up, and he finds Grubbs, which is hilarious.
And somehow he actually looks like he aged more.
Yes, from the yeah, I guess that burial process really accelerates decomposition. Or maybe he just hit a soft spot with the shovel or something. And Ava, who had escaped on foot and got taken into custody by the crooked Harlan cops, she's now at the barn, and we've got Markham there, we've got Loretta there, we've got Boon there, and Markham is very interested to learn where his money is, and I have a short clip of that.
You remember the first day I laid eyes on you? Told you that for a woman to survive in this line, she had to be tougher than the men. Hell, any woman who kills her husband and puts a bullet in her new fiance. My compliments on your grit. I'd say you had a bright future, assuming you have a future. Your man Boyd stole my money, and you stole it from him. Were you just gonna give it back to me?
It's up the mountain. Little cabin there. Belongs to a fella called Groves. It's buried on his property.
That mountain's crawling with federals.
How'd you get the money up there?
I dragged it on a sled.
All by your lonesome? I'm gonna ask you just one time, Ava, who helped you?
My uncle. But he didn't have any part in the taking. He just didn't want to see me dead.
Is your uncle still up there?
So we get the impression there from Markham at the beginning of that interaction, right? That, hey, you know, tell me where the money is. You'll potentially have a future. Just, you know, I know you didn't steal the money. I know Boyd did. And you stole it from him, which, you know, look, that takes a lot of balls to do that. I kind of appreciate that. But now you've got to give me the money back. That's sort of it's sort of an affable sort of exchange. And then as some of the details start to come out, he gets more and more serious. We find out Zachariah helped. She asks him, you know, not to hurt him because he didn't have any part in the taking. It doesn't matter. They are going to find Zachariah, find that money, and they're going to kill everybody that's involved. It becomes pretty clear at that point in the discussions that nobody's leaving that alive, even if he gets his money back. So,
yeah.
You know, Tim and Rachel are in the woods. They find the gator tooth necklace. That comes over the radio. Raylan asks the state trooper to take action regarding the necklace, who then threatens to put him in the trunk. They get to the cop shop, and Art's there waiting for him, takes Raylan into his custody, and they start to head back to Lexington. But in the meantime, Markham wants Ava to call Zachariah and make arrangements for his money to be returned to him. And so Ava does just that, except, you know, the viewers at home, we know Zachariah is dead. And the person who answers the phone is none other than Boyd Crowder, who is fresh from finding Groobs' corpse in a shallow grave. So let's listen to a quick clip of that here.
Uncle Zachariah? Uncle Zachariah?
He can't get to the phone right now.
Thank God you're okay. I was worried Boyd might have gotten to you. Put a bullet in you.
He did. But believe me, it was meant for you.
Uncle Zachariah, got some bad news. Mr. Markham has hold of me at the old Bennett drying shed. He doesn't get his money back. He's gonna kill me.
Tell me why I should give a shit.
I told him you and me, the only two living souls, know where that money's hid. Without one of us alive, nobody will ever find it.
That's the only reason I ain't hung up yet.
So you on your way?
You tell him to send an unarmed man. Meet me at Compass Rock.
Compass Rock?
2 miles east of the trailhead.
So they make arrangements to meet Zachariah, or who they think is Zachariah, at Compass Rock. They send Boon. Boon takes Loretta with him because Loretta knows her way around the hollers. And we hear Markham order Boon to get the money and then kill Zachariah. So it becomes very, very clear that there's no intention of anyone leaving this alive, this situation alive. The punishment for stealing Markham's money is death, period. Plus his fiance is dead. He's got nothing to lose at this point. So it's time to wrap up all of his unfinished business, I would say. So they set this meet.
Yeah, he gets a little unhinged, right? I mean, he probably, if Catherine hadn't gotten killed, he probably would have like let it go. You know what I mean? Like, I think he would have. He would have gone a little bit harder, or he would have gone hard a little bit, but not as much. I think you're absolutely right. I think if Catherine, this is sort of a revenge mission for him now. Yeah. I'll kill everything you love.
Not quite Man on Fire style, but So, Art and Raylan are driving back to Lexington. Raylan manages to, sweet talk Art into cutting him loose because Art knows it's the right thing to do. Art's all frustrated and pissed, and Raylan looks like the cat who ate the canary. He's so proud of himself for talking himself out of the cuffs. It's so funny. But then they realize, well, shit, we have to split up because the marshals have found Groobs' shack and Boyd. There's a firefight. They exchange gunfire, and then Boyd, being also in his very much, I got to do anything I can to escape this mode, starts throwing lit sticks of dynamite at their pursuit. So he's lighting dynamite, tossing it, and it's, blowing up and creating craters where the marshals and the cops are pursuing him. It's it's completely unhinged. I mean, it's wild, and you wonder why they didn't call it an airstrike or something at that point. Can we get a freaking Black Hawk up here or something?
Well, they had the thermals and stuff. They should have had it mice. I guess, maybe the out is that he not Raylan, but Boyd knows the terrain really well, but not really, right?
Right. I mean, he doesn't. He talked about how he doesn't really know those trails are a maze, and he doesn't really know that area. We've heard about it when he was looking to hide Ty Walker. We've heard about it, in prior seasons also. So yeah, it's a little weird, and he does get away, right? And so Art says he's got to get up there before it turns into Ruby Ridge, which arguably it already has.
But how many bodies do they have up there now at this place? Uncle Zachariah.
There's 3 up there.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you're right. It's probably already turned into Ruby Ridge.
Yeah, and then Art and Raylan, they go to a cop bar because they want to find out where Ava is, because they know that the cops took Ava to Markham and they want to know where Markham was. So they find Deputy Stiles, who's the guy who got pistol whipped by Carl, and they use a baseball bat on the bar to rattle his concussion to basically get him to give up where Markham is. When I was watching this cop bar, the one thing I thought about this is, why haven't we seen this bar before now? Because I think it would have been a cool sort of recurring thing to have that cop bar with that guy behind the bar who's sort of hostile to anybody who's not a local, and a bunch of local cops, some of them scumbags, some of them not, hanging out in the bar. I think that's a cool little thing to add to the story, and I wish we would have seen it before now.
Yeah. He's like disarming all these cops. You have to hang up your guns or whatever it is. What is that? I can't even think of the name of that Star Wars bar that everybody talks about.
The Cantina bar. That's all I know it by.
Yeah. Where it's all the assorted low lives and stuff.
a wretched hive of scum and villainy, I think is what Obi-Wan calls it. I'm not even a Star Wars guy, and I know that, I think so.
Yeah. I wish I could get, well, that's a whole other thing, right? As far as the thing. But yeah, it's I always like the idea. It's kind of like an Elmore Leonard thing, right? Where all the scumbags
very much so. Yeah, there's always a place where the scumbags go to hang out together.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, Markham gets the news that Zachariah. Well, so Art and Raylan split up at that point. Art goes off to prevent the Ruby Ridge, and Raylan goes to the shed where Markham is, and he tells Raylan, he says, "Hey, look, no matter what you see there, no matter what they've done to Loretta or Ava or any of that, you've got to control yourself. You're a law enforcement officer." Basically, he gives him a preemptive lecture on not just killing people. So We'll see if it sinks in, but Markham gets the news that Zachariah is not there with his money, and that's where, as you kind of point out, he starts to get really unhinged, and he pulls a pistol on Ava, tries to intimidate her to find out what's really going on, but before he can take any action, Boyd has managed to escape the local law enforcement and the marshals and made it to the Bennett drying shed.